You need to go outside of your comfort zone and take risks and, discover new things and just learn. So that's great.
Growth
Thank you.
comes from discomfort. You're
Yes.
absolutely
Ah,
right.
I need to get that tattooed on me. So no.
Welcome to this episode of The Diligent Leader, where today we're going to be talking about sales leadership and community impact. I'm Holly Boston, joined by my co-host,
Kaylee Jakovics. And today we have a very special guest and friend, Heather Dunkerley, who is the Vice President of Sales at Engage PEO. She is also part of the Crofton Chamber, board member, many different things she's going to tell us about today. So, Heather, thank you so much for joining.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, again, I just a leader in the community. We're happy to have you on the Diligent Leader. And I want to start by first, tell us a little bit about yourself. I want the audience, the listeners, those who don't truly know you, like give us a little bit about, where you're from, your interests, things along those lines.
Absolutely. I'm happy to share. So Heather Dunkerley, I'm a Maryland native. So as you mentioned, I'm the Vice President of Sales for Engage PEO. I'm also the Vice President of the Greater Crofton Chamber of Commerce, Chair of the Business Development Committee. I'm also involved with the American Business Women's Association, the Maryland Capital Chapter, mother of four, lots of things about me. I have a master's degree in management and leadership from Western Governors University as well.
That's fabulous. Could you share a little bit about your career journey and sort of how you ended up in your current position as the Vice President of Sales at Engage?
Absolutely. So my career journey really started with Weight Watchers. I was a territory manager for them, oversaw a team of anywhere from 75 to 100 staff. It was amazing. And then I left Weight Watchers and was a recruiting manager at a construction company, a local construction company, which was, kind of my foray into HR and human relations. I had done a lot of human relations with Weight Watchers in terms of coaching, development, but then recruiting with that company. And then I saw an opportunity with Human Resources Incorporated, which is an HR outsourcing company. I was their director of business development. I was first their business development manager and then their director of business development. And after 34 years, our owner recently sold Human Resources Incorporated to Engage PEO. And we are absolutely thrilled to be a part of this organization because they are phenomenal, have the same philosophies of customer service. And so I recently became the Vice President of Sales. When I say recently, within the past couple weeks, this is a very new
So
role to me.
exciting.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So that's a great segue. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
So I help small businesses and nonprofits have access to a full HR department of expertise. So think payroll and tax administration, business business support in terms of benefits design and administration, human resource management, workers' compensation administration. Our goal is to take all of that transactional HR off of their plate because nobody gets into business because they want to do HR. So we
Very
take
true.
that off of their plate so that they can focus on their core mission and grow their business.
I think that's important, a very important point as we get into the series. Again, and Kaylee and I have worked with a lot of different business owners and entities. And I think that one of the things that's always a challenge for business owners is sort of asking for help and then sort of delegating tasks out to outside entities that can help them achieve their mission and their goals while not taking away from their ability to meet those goals.
I agree. It's there's some times when it's best to outsource to experts. And certainly with the environment recently where there's been so many compliance changes, keeping on top of all of that is difficult for anyone, even in the HR field, let alone someone who's just trying to grow their business and manage employees and, find new revenue streams. it's just not the best use of their time. So
Right.
we bring a full HR department's expertise at their disposal so that they have peace of mind.
Yeah, it's hard to focus on all of those extra duties when especially as a new business, a small business, there's many different things you need to be doing. So lots of services and support it seems like you can help with. So
Most
yeah.
definitely.
And not just related, I guess, to HR, but you personally, I mean, as a leader, you have a lot going on and a lot of impacts that you're making around the community and business as well. But have you yourself had any challenges that you've had to overcome, whether it's at this new position or something in the past? I'd love to hear it.
I have there, if I told you my career trajectory was a straight line, I would be absolutely telling you a fib. There have been many bumps in the road. And sometimes I think what I've discovered is what's meant for you will not pass you by. So if somebody doesn't see your value or it doesn't align, that doesn't mean that someone else won't. And so every time I think in my career, adversity happened or a door shut, what was behind it was actually something even better and something that was meant for me. So just to not let the downs get to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And but also to have those courageous conversations as well. You grow from courageous conversations, whether that's giving or receiving. And so it's just important to be, I think, courageous in that
Yeah.
way as
I, lo-
well.
That's great advice.
yeah, I love that you say that because, like, me being in business development, I mean, there's definitely days where I've come a long way in the last couple of years, learning and, having mentors and all of that. But it's like there are days that are like, whoa, or, door shuts. But then it's good to be courageous and to keep going and to know that it's not for me. Like, I know that it's not meant to be, and there's always going to be a new door that opens or, something else that's meant for me. So I love hearing that from you.
That's great, Kaylee. Thanks for sharing that with us. But Heather, and just to segue off of that, I'm interested in hearing from you on during some of the challenges. What's your North Star? Like, how do you recenter after those kind of setbacks?
To piggyback on what Kaylee just said is have a mentor. Have somebody that is your sounding board that can say, hey, this isn't as bad as you think it is. Or just to give you advice and guidance that has your back, and knows your strengths, knows your weaknesses as well. I had a situation yesterday where I was working with someone, got a response that was something I had never heard of. And, in the number of years I've been in the industry, that's rare. And I called John, who is my new coach and mentor, and said, John, did I do anything wrong? What could I have done differently? And to get some reassurance of what I didn't, what I did well, but maybe how I could handle it better the next time. And just somebody that I trust with that is phenomenal. It's great to have a mentor.
Yeah, it shows that, you're not just good at what you do, but also you're a leader. Like we're having this conversation, the diligent leader, you're always looking to grow. So you have a mentor. Do you have multiple mentors? Do you mentor anyone as well?
I do. And I think that's really important because I get so much out of the being a mentor to others. I think I get more out of it sometimes than they do. So I think it's important to give and to receive as well when it comes to mentorship. So I have a couple mentors. I have a personal mentor. I have a work mentor. I think it's important to have that in your life and have those trusted advisors. But I think everyone should be on a path of continuous improvement and to be a lifelong learner. And so I think that's probably the key to success as well, is to never, when you think you know it all and you think you've heard it all and there's nothing more to learn, that's when we stop growing.
I love that. I've heard that before, and I just got chills that you said that because that's what I try to instill in my mind. Every single day, it's like keep going, keep learning, and I also feel like if you're comfortable every single day, that's not a good thing either. Like you need to go outside of your comfort zone and take risks and discover new things and just learn. So that's great.
Growth
Thank you.
comes from discomfort. You're
Yes.
absolutely
Oh,
right.
I need to get that tattooed on me. So.
So, and I think that brings us into sort of the next area that we wanted to talk about as far as leadership. How would you describe your leadership style? And then, as it relates to community impact as well?
It's so hard to put one word on leadership. In my master's degree, I did a paper and did a quiz, and it was transformational leadership, which I definitely think that I identify with transformational leadership. There's definitely been times in my journey where I've had to take a team and totally shift it with different technology or a different business model or a different platform, and that you have to have transformational leadership to do that. But I really think that empathetic leadership is very important, and servant leadership, certainly if you're making an impact in the community, I think that is essential as well. But I think empathetic leadership is also so important, and to lead with empathy.
Yeah, and kind of having like that hybrid approach of what you're talking about of having all of those together. I feel like a good like fusion and mix is really what's going to make the best leader.
Are there any projects that you're currently working on within the community that you would like to share more
Well, as
about?
the chair of the business development committee for the Greater Crofton Chamber of Commerce, we are, we work to bring professional development events that help business owners optimize the current environment and also prepare for anticipated changes. So I get passionate about that because I mentioned I am a lifelong learner, and continuous improvement is important. So I love helping businesses with what may help them to advance and develop professionally and in their business. So we have a lot of projects coming up with the Greater Crofton Chamber, with business information group meetings and a lunch and learn, actually, that Kaylee is going to be speaking
Yeah,
on
I'm so
in a
excited.
couple of weeks on social media. So I get excited about that, helping business owners have what they need to be successful. Other community impact, we just had our dictionary project for the Crofton Chamber, which is wonderful. We bring dictionaries to the students, and you think that a dictionary, it's a paper thing, everybody's Googling everything. You would be surprised how excited these kids are to have a dictionary, and how excited the teachers are for the
Honestly, I would be excited if I
I
had a
just had a
dictionary.
conversation with my child about, reference materials, and
Yeah,
I was suggesting that we start to use some of these. And of course, this was all foreign, but yes, she was very
yeah.
excited
She's like,
to
"What's a
have that too.
dictionary?"
And I think it's great. As in my work, and I do a lot of writing, I use a dictionary all the time. I don't have, a hard copy one that I carry around, but I look it up on Google if I need to check something or a spelling or,
Yeah,
use of a word or something. So I think that's great. I
yeah,
love
It's nice
reference.
to have a paper copy as
yeah.
well.
Right.
And then another thing that is really, we are so excited about, is we just had our Greater Crofton Chamber of Commerce Civics Day, and then they had the Anne Arundel County Civics Day as well. So both our first and second prize winners from the Crofton Chamber Civics Bee went on to win the county bee and are advancing to the Maryland and are going to the national bee. So we are very
Wow,
That's
excited.
that is
great. What a
awesome.
fabulous
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes. So that's been a wonderful project in tandem with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce as well. So we're excited about that. We have a blood drive that's coming up. There's a lot that we do in the community that I think is very important. That whether it be health, wellness, education, I think it's just really important to be involved, and that's kind of what drew me to the Chamber of Commerce. Is it's not just what they do for small businesses, but also what they do in the community.
Yeah, you're like a true business development entrepreneur
Yeah, and I
style.
think that it's that investment in our communities that really sets business leaders apart because they are
Absolutely.
invested and they are witnessing the impact of either the efforts that they're making or the innovations that they're bringing into the community. So it's fabulous to hear a little bit from Heather about how she's able to, see these
Yeah.
projects in motion and actually help the community.
Yeah. And I know that you're involved in so many different groups, the chamber, ABWA, you have your regular job now, yeah, VP of sales, which is so exciting. And like how do you balance it all, not just professionally, but your work life balance, for me it can get overwhelming, and there's some things that I do, but what do you do?
You know, I say what needs to get done always gets done. If you looked at my house right now in the laundry, you might say she's not getting some things done. But when laundry needs to get done, it will get done. But I try to stay organized. And one of the things that I use is just the basics. Is, I have a Kanban board of the flow of things for business. Or maybe for the chamber, where I'm scheduling people and have we scheduled it? Have we gotten their information back about their topic? Has it gone out on social media? Do we have the location? So that Kanban board also helps keep me organized. I'm a visual person. I was joking with my brother the other day. He's an attorney, and he asked me what color I should be on his calendar because I was coming to meet with him. And I said blue, of course, because
Blue,
it's
yes, it's your
my
color.
favorite color. But I said, do you color code your calendar? And he's Heather, of course I do. And it's just funny because I do as well.
Runs in the family.
Green is always work. The chamber
Yeah.
is orange. Blue is family. Purple might be, spiritual. Red might be working out. What I find is if I schedule it, it happens. If it's on my calendar, it happens. We would never not go to the doctor if it's on our calendar, because we also know we're probably going to get hit with a missing appointment fee. But we need to set aside time for that. I say spiritual time, or maybe it's planning time. Sometimes having a half an hour in the morning before looking at the phone or opening up Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn to just think about what I want to accomplish in the day, and maybe write down 3 things that are really important for work, or maybe 3 things that are important personally, or 3 things that are important for the chamber. And just trying to stay organized that way, that helps me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I need to I need to get my calendar color coded a little bit
Yeah.
better because I feel like that would help me. And something that I see you doing personally, which is a huge inspiration to me, is I know you work out a lot, and I see it because we're friends on social and all this stuff, and I'm like, you know, I see what she's doing professionally, personally, and she's doing this every day, and I know I can do it too. Like, so you're definitely inspiring, I think, in the community. So keep doing what you're
Oh,
doing.
I will say that it helps me. It helps me get my mind straight. I will
Right.
say, there's a big mental health crisis in our community as well, and certainly in the HR world, we see it firsthand. And certainly, you know, you can't pour into others unless your cup is full, for sure. So, back when I used to be a runner, my hips and knees don't like that anymore. So that's how I got into the Peloton. Is it was a lot easier on these old joints, so to speak. But when I was a runner, my kids used to, if I was having a stressful situation, my kids used to bring me my running shoes and say, "Hey, mom, why don't you go out for a run?"
Yeah.
Run it out, so to speak. And I've always given myself that, just get out there, do something. If you hate it after 5 minutes, stop and give yourself that grace to stop. And what's so funny is I rarely, if ever, stop. I usually, after 5 minutes, am enjoying it and keep going. So,
That is great advice. Yeah, and it just also working out, whether you're using the Peloton or just getting outdoors, it does help with the mental health and the day-to-day stresses of work and life, and yeah, so
Well,
feet
and I
first.
think sometimes too, I'm so sorry, Hannah, not to cut you off. Just, I think sometimes too, it helps to sort of organize my mind, if you will,
yes.
like, just sort of get things into perspective. And then, once the endorphins are kicking, maybe things start to make a little bit more sense and I can come up with a plan of action. So definitely
Ho-
a
Yeah.
proponent of exercise.
Yeah.
Holly, that's exactly it. Feet first, head will follow, for sure. So,
God, you're just coming in solid with these quotes. I'm loving it. I love it so much. I want to shift a little bit more in about Engage, your new role. Super exciting. I mean, what excites you most about the role?
first of all, this is it's I'm excited to work for a company of this caliber. They really wanted to be in this area, so they aggressively, in a positive way, wanted Maryland and wanted the Mid Atlantic. So I'm thrilled to grow their presence in the Mid Atlantic, in Maryland, and beyond. They have some certifications that HRI didn't have. HRI was a smaller organization. This is a larger organization that hasn't lost that uh, personal touch and that commitment to service delivery, and that's rare.
Yeah.
But they have an ESAC certification, which is kind of like the FDIC for banks. That's the certification for this industry,
Hmm.
and they're also a certified PEO, which is an IRS certification.
Right.
And this just shows a commitment to financial reporting, ethical standards, bonding. Um, it's really it's just wonderful to have that as well as all of our certifications that continue. The SHRM certification, the payroll certifications, the benefits credentials, and such. So it's just nice to have that as well.
Yeah, if someone were, I guess, to ask you kind of, why should they work with your team with Engage PEO instead of someone else? Like what would be that? I know you just listed a couple, but like kind of what is the highlight there or the value?
It's really, they have such an innovative business model. They have a unique approach to HR delivery as well, which was our approach to HR delivery as well. It's really um, having the right advisors, having that, you don't have to go into a call queue. You don't have to put a help desk ticket in. You're going to have a live person to speak with. So when you have an HR situation, the last thing you need is to be struggling to get to
Right.
somebody. So
Yeah.
they are exactly like HRI. In that Engage PEO believes in direct lines, direct phone,
That
so that you
personal
can
approach. Yeah. I love
get the
that.
help you need when you need it, because HR crises are real, and you need to be able to know what to do in an emergency situation like that. But their philosophy is to expect more. And I absolutely love that, because I believe that, when I talk to clients, I try to um, under promise and over deliver. And so I love that expect more philosophy, because they really believe in that clients should have the right to expect more. And client experience and quality of service are the driving focus of everything for this organization.
So, how do you work with clients to make sure that their experience is a good one?
So it's a really personalized approach. So when I sit down with a prospective client, it's a lot of questions. I really want to understand, the current situation. I want to understand what their short-term goals are, and maybe even the long-term goals are, whether that's growth or whether that's to expand into new states and to ensure that they have the right compliance in place. It's just really important to understand what benefits are important to them, what their employee experience, the culture of the organization, so that I really have a good understanding of their needs, so I can recommend the right solutions. Engage has a robust uh, service options, so it's really nice to be able to customize to the need of the client.
Yeah, that's great. And so as you work with clients and work to bring in new clients, talk a little bit about how um, you envision driving growth and development in your new role.
This is one of the things that, especially with Engage, they have a different model. So they partner with various trusted advisors. So think brokers, think HR consultants, employment law attorneys, CPAs. And so they work in tandem with that, which is a little different than maybe other HR outsourcing PEO organizations, professional employer organizations. So they work in tandem with it, with those trusted partners, and have a unique business model to bring value to those trusted advisors, but also bring value to the clients as well.
I guess, thank you for sharing that, Heather. Are there any upcoming initiatives or strategies that you're excited about for Engage?
Really, for Engage, it's going to be getting out there and formulating those relationships. It's everything that HRI was, but more. So it's now, formulating those relationships, being able to serve a bigger population as well. Engage is certified in all 50 states. So whereas sometimes I had to say no to previous clients because we couldn't offer a service, some states are a little bit more complex. I had a different solution, but it's now nice to be able to offer the total solution to those clients in states that maybe we weren't able to
Right.
offer.
That's very exciting to be. I hate to use this term, but one-stop shop, if you will, because you have that abundance of resources and support at your organization that you can just, like what you enjoy to do, help the client or customer even more.
And
um,
it also creates efficiencies when it is a one-stop shop, because you've got, payroll and tax, communicating with benefits, versus everything outsourced to things that don't talk to each other. It
Absolutely.
really creates efficiencies and peace of mind, and less errors, omissions. It really does create more accuracy.
Yeah, and you talked about some of your roles. So, at the chamber, ABWA, and then of course this role, and there's a couple others I think you mentioned too. But I guess how do they complement each other? I mean, being in sales, chair of business development, all of that. Like, how do they work together?
I think they work together because people are at the heart of all of that, whether it be, working with Engage PEO and helping small businesses. People are a huge part of that, helping organizations help their people. People are their most valuable asset, their human capital, their employees, their team. That's the most valuable asset that they have. So helping their people be successful. I think with the chamber, it's the same thing. It's helping small businesses succeed, and helping the community. So again, helping people. And it's the same with, my relationship with ABWA. They are all about helping each other, and to be successful and to have the right knowledge, skills, and abilities as well. It's a wonderful networking opportunity. So, networking is important, whether it be for business, whether it be for the chamber, whether it be for ABWA. It's really, it all ties into people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's great. I know that you've talked a little bit about sort of your leadership style, but I'm also interested in talking more about applying that to the way the landscape of business development is changing. So I think that with those changes, we're going to need very strong business leaders to help companies make their way and evolve as well. And we talked on another episode about sort of, changes in business after COVID that really forced a lot of organizations to completely regroup, reorganize, and rethink the way that they were doing things. So I'd like to talk little bit about that in terms of the way that business development is evolving too.
And that's such an important question, because business development is constantly changing. And certainly, I've been hearing, like, what's AI going to do in terms of business development? Are we all going to be replaced,
Right.
so to speak? And I don't think so. I think that, again, going back to people and the importance of building relationships, AI is never going to replace being in front of somebody or having a real conversation, building that relationship. But I think when it comes to business development, I think it's important to build a relationship with with organizations and show your value. It isn't necessarily about what you can get out of it. per se. It's really about what value you can bring. And I think it's important to, you know, again, tell the truth even when it's difficult. Have those courageous conversations. Be upfront. Treat everyone with dignity and respect. And keep your word. I say it all the time. Be a woman of your word, and honor your commitments with that. And always act responsibly and be ethical. But I think those are the things that building your reputation in business development will draw people to you. Being a woman of your word or being a man of your word. And that's where sometimes the work in business development can be done for you, where people are referring you because they have seen, who you are in the community, how you showed up for others, word of mouth. And I think that's very important too.
Yeah, and I see that with you as a leader and others that are involved in our groups and chambers and things along those lines. It's like you're gonna work with these people who you like, know, and trust. And for you and many others, you can see how hard and dedicated you are, not just to your job, right, but to the people. And I think that's really important. So thank you for sharing that.
And I think it's important to note too, Kaylee, that when you're working with the public, you sort of are held to a different standard, if you will, as far as ethics and integrity, as Heather mentioned. So, yes, I think it is absolutely, lead by example. And then when people see you operating in an ethical manner and they see the way that you are impacting the community in a positive way, then they feel you're someone that they would like to refer their friends or family or business associates to because they have that comfort level of trust in seeing you engage with others in a way that makes them feel, empowered and also comfortable in working with you as a business leader.
Yeah. And also passionate too. That's another thing. So you can show up, you can do your job, you can be there for other people, but it's like, do you actually care? And like, you can see, whoops, you can see.
She's getting passionate.
I know. I'm getting excited now. You can see that you're truly passionate about helping others. And I want to thank you for sharing all of your insights today. And we're super excited to have you. Again, share all of this, and then also excited for you to have your new role of VP of Sales at Engage PEO. Exciting stuff. And I guess, do you have anything else that you want to share with us today, either about your new role, plans, even if it's about the chamber or some of the other groups, associations? I'd love to hear upcoming events, your future vision, anything.
There's a couple of future events coming up. Jen Laura, who is the
I love her, by the way.
coach at Anne Arundel Community College for the Engagement Coach Program, which, if you know nothing about this program, it is a phenomenal program. It's a level 2 coaching program. And I've known several graduates from this program, and they're all phenomenal people. So, and you think about this, and then, coaching is something that we do in business. Heck, I coach my kids. I coach my husband. It's one of these things where Jen, because you're the one who introduced me to Jen, who she's going to be speaking for us. And I'm just so excited for everyone to hear her speak. It's going to be on the 20th here in our offices in Crofton in the HRI/Engage PEO. We haven't changed the name on the building just yet. Offices. So we're excited to have her. And, if you want to we talked about work-life balance and finding work-life balance. Jen is phenomenal with the questions that help you to get to the root of that. So we're very excited about that. We're very excited for you, Kaylee, to speak on social media and content marketing as well on the 25th for the Lunch and Learn. Yeah. I believe the blood drive is the 18th. And so that's really important. I try to give blood all the time because I have friends who can't, and it is such a critical need in our community. And Mia Anderson is the one who sponsors that. And all the blood stays in the community. So that's the other thing. It's not sold. It's through Luminous Health Anne Arundel Medical Center. So it really makes a difference for those in need here locally. And so I get a little passionate about that because, one pint of blood can help 3 individuals. So That's important for the community. We've got some other things that are going to be coming up as well, like Taste of Crofton. We're going to be bringing that back with all the restaurants in the area. So I like to eat, so that's going to
Who
be
doesn't?
exciting too. I don't know about anybody else,
Yeah.
but I like good food. And so after a hiatus from COVID, it's going to be really nice to bring that back to the community as
Yeah.
well. And then, of course, National Night Out, where we partner with police and fire and EMT and bring National Night Out to the community as well. And that'll be at Crofton High School in August. So we're excited about that. Lots going on.
Yeah,
Lots going on with Engage PEO, lots going on with the Greater Crofton
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce as well.
Yeah, definitely lots going on. The blood drive, that is really amazing that it's local. I mean, it's amazing if it goes to whoever that is in need, but to have it in our local community, it really it makes you want to donate even more, if you will. So I need to sign up for that.
So I was going to say, Kaylee's going to be there.
Maybe I get a little woozy, but yeah, I'll try my best. I'll do it. I will totally do it for those in need. And then to
They'll give you juice after and a cookie of
cookie.
your choice.
You get a
and,
treat.
And they'll let you sit as long as you need to.
Okay.
I am a frequent flyer for donating, and it's if you've ever had a family member that has had a need, which I have, and you get a different appreciation.
Yeah, and I'm excited also to be presenting for the chamber, and then just to give Jen Laura another plug. She's an amazing coach, I need to ask her to be on here. She's an amazing leader, and every time that I go to one of her workshops, I'm feeling so motivated after. I cannot even tell you. And Heather too. She's a very inspiring woman. So
incredible. And she has a wonderful the coaching professor on Instagram. You can even just get a little taste there, and I promise you, if you do, you're going to want to see more.
Yeah, and then just kind of before we wrap up, I wanted to get if you have any advice for either what am I trying to say? If you have any advice for any leaders or new business, anyone to get involved in the chamber, or even anyone in sales, like kind of what would you leave us with for today?
I would probably a couple things, but I'll make it short. Don't shy away from the tough conversations. Not only will you grow from the tough conversations, but the person, actually feedback is a gift. It really is, for you and for the individual receiving it. Be the bigger person in every situation that you can. You never know how things might come back to you in a different way. So, I tend to ask myself, are you going to build a bridge, or are you going to build a wall? And it's always usually better to build that bridge. And really, again, build relationships, but live your values. Be authentic. Be faithful to who you are, your spiritual core, your conscience, and your deepest intuitions. Trust your gut. It isn't just a gut feeling. It's your mind basically telling you all the experiences that you've had in your life are guiding you. And so trust your gut.
Thank you so much.
Pretty solid advice
Yes,
there.
I know. I'm going back after this episode, and I'm going to just write down all the quotes so I have them. So I want to end advice. So thank you again, Heather, for joining us. It's been great to learn more about your new position at Engage PEO as the VP of Sales, as well as the Greater Crofton Chamber, and much more that you gave us some great value and insights today. So I want to thank you for being here today. And I'm one of your hosts, Kaylee Jakovics.
And I'm Holly Basta for The Diligent Leader. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. Share this great advice with all of your friends who might want to learn more about how they can be sales leaders and impact their own community, just like we've talked with our guest, Heather, about here today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.